Hello everyone and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is my first video, so please, if it doesn't look so great, wonderful, or enthusiastically done here, don't throw rocks at me, okay? I am still learning, very much still learning, but it has been quite fun so far. Today's video is going to be on an ILS approach into Chicago ORD on the ILS runway 10 center. There's storms all over the area, so it should be an interesting situation today. But we'll just pop right in there and see how everything's going in the aircraft at the moment here, and so far so good. We're going to need to get it set up for our descent. As you can see already, I already have the heading set and the altitude, so that when we get to top of descent we will just start heading in. And let's see what else we're needing to do at this moment in time. There's our approach chart. This is where we're coming in, how we're coming in. We're on the Welts approach here for ILS 10 center. And we're going to have to retune the radio at the moment, or we're going to be listening to the other airport's ATIS. There we go. We'll just put that off on the other frequency for right now until we get past that segment. Now we were on ATC, we wouldn't even be on the 122.8, and we would be on an approach frequency or a center frequency if they were on. And here's our route coming in. Make sure we don't have any hiccups in it. Looks like everything's good. And right now we're going to be at 40 degrees on the flaps and 133 on the knots. That will change the closer we get. It'll probably end up being about 131, 132. Sometimes it drops a little more than where it's at right now. And we're currently at 37,000 feet, and we have our landing altitude at 700. Field elevation is right at 680 is the field elevation, so you round it off to the closest side of the fence there, which on this particular situation would be 700. So we've got 700 set in there, and on our descent we will have to turn on our de-ice, as the temperatures in Chicago are quite nippy at the moment. The temperature in Chicago right at this moment is 3 degrees Celsius, 37 degrees Fahrenheit. So we're going to have to keep an eye on that. And storms in the area, possible snow mixed with it. Like I said, should be an interesting approach. And we'll go ahead and get our brakes set. I'm going to be using 3. It always seems to be a good scenario. And then once we start our descent in, I'll arm my speed brakes the closer in we get. So I don't know if you folks have heard about the Honeycomb Alpha and Bravo setup. Um, Probably have. I don't know how many of you may have the setup. I personally got it about 2 months ago now. And I tell you what, for a yoke and a throttle quadrant, I love the crud out of this. This is so realistic, so neat and wonderful. Um, it just handles like realism, and the way it operates with each aircraft, you can set it up for different planes and so forth. It is just great. And it comes, your throttle quadrant comes with your single engine setup, your multi-engine setup, and it comes with your Boeing setup, 2 and 4 engine for your Boeing. For a few pennies more, you can end up getting the Airbus quadrant, 2 and 4 engine Airbus setup, and I would highly recommend it. I did that, and it is great. That's all I can say about it. Just really like to throw a word out there to them fine folks at Honeycomb. Did a great job on this. I'll figure out how to throw a link in here and put a link to their website so you can go check it out. No, they're not very cost friendly, but they are well worth the money. Uh, when you get it, you would see exactly what I'm saying. Anyway, it looks like we are on our descent procedure now and descent checklist, so we will get that going. Auto brake is set. Still 133. All right, we have our descent checklist is complete now, and I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but the type aircraft that I'm flying is the Zibo 737-800 MAX. Really love this airplane. It's designed really well. And today I am flying in Xplane 12. Usually either in 11 or 12. I have both of them. I'm still getting some quirks out in Xplane 12, as in frame rates and that kind of thing. So if any of you have any suggestions on frame rate settings for the Xplane 12, I'm all ears. I would like to hear what you have found that gives you a good frame rate, especially when you're flying with ATC. Um, I've found that the last time I flew with ATC, my frame rate dropped so drastically that it disconnected me. Not a good situation, especially when you're in LA traffic. And we are approaching top of descent. Can't really see it in there with the weather radar on. Turn it off, but now you can see top of descent's right there, and we're almost on top of it. So we'll turn our weather radar back on because we got a lot of stuff around us. Have to keep an eye on them Charlie Bravos. And there we go, starting our descent into Chicago ORD. ILS runway 10 center. I don't know about you guys, but I really love PAX. This is so cool. It's pretty neat. It is fun to use. Bit of a stormy day. Kind of bouncing the airplane around on our way down. My landing rates have been what I would consider fair in this Zibo 737 MAX 8. Any pointers you have are always more than welcome. I've been staying in the 2-300 area. Sometimes I get lucky enough and end up getting it in lower. One round I got extremely lucky and got a -10. I hadn't figured out how I did that yet, but I'm looking forward to seeing it again. We will see how today turns out. Please, I just got the airplane washed, so don't throw any rotten tomatoes at it or banana peels or mud, any of that, please. It's a nice clean airplane now. So don't blame the airplane for my landing rate. And just so that you know, I have flown Cessnas. I have never flown a commercial jet airliner. So this is a very unique experience to me. And let's check, see if our runway is still good. Oh. We should still be good. I also have my 10.5-inch Apple tablet linked up to my flight simulator here, and it has a 4-flight subscription on it, which, thanks to a very good friend of mine, he added me to his subscription, so I get to use it with my flight simulator. Well, before we forget to do it, let's go ahead and get these wonderful anti-ice switches on so we don't run into any complications. There we go. And I'm on Volanta. Zoom in a little bit. Well, that's a little more than what I wanted. Look at that wonderful weather. We just went right in between two Charlie Bravos there. But it is moving our direction, so I have to kind of keep an eye on that. And then here is our approach. Go ahead and arm the speed brake. And speed brake is armed. So I don't forget that maneuver. Enjoy that pretty blue sky out there ahead of us for the next few moments. Once we pass through these clouds, it won't be so pretty anymore. And of course, I do have my co-pilot, Linda, and I must say I do enjoy having her in the plane. I have her handling everything and most everything. She handles the co-pilot section and I handle the pilot section. So a lot of fun. If you don't have her, uh, might I suggest you get her from, I believe she's only available in Xplane. I'm not sure about that statement, but if you can let me know on the other, I would appreciate it. But as I said, I fly Xplane 11 and 12, and she works fine in both 11 and 12. And time for approach checklist. And we need to set our transition. We were yakking and forgot to do that. Let's see what our barrel is for Chicago. Altimeter is 3021. 3021. And we'll get that set. There we go. And there we go. And she wants to knock it down a notch per usual. And the approach checklist is now complete. Our speed is still up there significantly at the moment. May end up having to throw out flaps 1 here pretty soon before we get close to the 10,000 foot mark, where we have to be at or below 250. And as we can see right now, we're bouncing between 279, 280 area, which is a little bit faster than what we want to be doing here. Let's go up here and see if we can lower that down a bit on our own here and see if we can get it start reducing speed. See, and here comes the rain on the windshield. And there we are. We are down to 250 now. We'll bring it on down to 220. Bring it down to 190. And bring our flaps to one position. Help keep us down in speed. Let's see what our approach speed should be. As I said, it came down to 132 now. There we go. Which add 5 to that. It'll be 137. Let's go ahead and bring our speed down to 170. And there we are on our approach plate. And bring our flaps to flaps position 2 now. As you can see in my top left corner here, my frame rate jumps around quite a bit in Xplane 12, and I have not figured out why. And flaps 5. And just so some of you know that might be able to help me with that frame rate, I will show you where I'm set at right now. This is what my graphics is set at. And my graphics card is the NVIDIA 2070 Super. And we can take a peek outside and see what it looks like. We're still being bounced around a little bit from the storms here. And we'll go back in the cockpit. And we are descending via stars into the ILS 10 Center, Chicago ORD. And the airport is actually off to our left side of the aircraft. Not exactly thrilled with this approach. I thought it was a more straight in approach than this. Should have looked better. Oh well, I do believe it will be just fine. We're fine on fuel for it, so everything is looking good there. As I said, this is a little different approach for me. I have never landed on any of the 4s or 10s runways in Chicago. Yeah, I've always come in from off the lake straight in to usually runway 27 center. So we'll see how this does and go from there. And there are some add-ons for Xplane that I just really, really like. I'm not sure if these will work on Xplane 12 with their beta system, but I know if you have Xplane 11, one of the ones you really want to download is from xplane.org, and it's called Extended Night Lighting. Oh man, it makes all the lights around the cities and airports and everything just look really so good. You download it and put it into your custom scenery file, and it is just cool. When you go into it, you'll see a whole bunch of downloads. Scroll all the way down to the bottom, all the way to the right, and it'll say all 48 states. Click on that one, download it. That way you'll have it for the whole lower 48. It does not include other locations other than the lower 48, but it is really neat. Another one that I feel is a must-have is Airport Environment HD. It really brings out your signs and airport runway signs, taxiway signs, all that stuff really, really well. And realistic power lines is pretty good too. Um, the basic setting in Xplane just kind of shows you some funky little lines and that kind of thing. But with this, they look like real power lines and all. So that's a pretty cool situation there. And if you haven't heard about it, we'll throw a word out here to all the simmers. Flight Sim Expo is going to be happening in Houston, Texas. I believe it's in June. I'm not sure of those dates right offhand, but if you go to flightsimexpo.com, you can look it up, see the dates for that weekend, and make plans to be there and go see everything. And if you use our friends at Jetstream Radio are giving us a discount for it. If you'll use the plug-in there for discounts and put in Jetstream Radio, all one word, all lowercase, it will give you a 10% discount on your tickets there for the expo. All right, now back to the approach here. See how we're doing, and fixing to make a left turn out to sea here and come back in towards Chicago. I don't know about you guys and gals, but I really love Jetstream Radio and the crew there at Jetstream Radio. They are super, lots of fun. Uh, if you're on A cars, smart cars there, um, go in the chat area when they're on live, listen to their music, and you can chat with them and so forth. A lot of fun, a lot of fun. Try it out. Okay, let's go back and set our radio so we don't get no funky radio messages around here like we just did. We'll put it back on Unicom 122.8, and of course we're not on flying online, so we don't have to announce any intentions or anything of that nature. And here we go, turning back towards Chicago. Looks like when we pass Gibbons and head to Barry, we'll start our descent again from 110 down. A lot of people like to use the HUD on descent and all, Um, I love it at nighttime, but during the daytime I really can't see it that well, so I don't really use it. I'll give you a show of what it looks like during the daytime. As you can see, maybe there's a way to set the colors differently on the HUD, but I am not aware of how to do that. Once again, if you know how to do that, please throw it in the comments section. And if you do like my video today, remember, it's my first one. Don't be too judgmental. But if you do like it, and please go ahead and smack that little like button there. And uh, if you would like to see what I do in the future for more videos, uh, click on that subscribe button. Um, really thank you for that. And I don't know if you have thought about it or not, or actually participating in one, but there's a lot of great virtual airlines out there, and they're a lot of fun. Um, if you're in one and you're not real tickled with the one you're in, uh, I am in deltavirtual.org, and we have a good group of people, good group of staff, and really enjoy getting on voice chat and having fun flying. And we'd love to have you pop in and come join us and fly with us. Looks like our longest course is to Gibbons and then Barry. Then after that is just basically straight into the runway. I get a laugh out of that. Um, Basically, totally cloud cover, but if you click on point of interest, the pilot tells him to look out the window and see this pretty interesting situation out there. Well, all they're seeing is clouds, but they get happy and make your flight good. Let's take a peek outside. Oh, well, look at there. They might have been able to see something down there on the ground when we pointed it out. Well, after a land in Chicago, we might have to go hunt up one of them famous Chicago hot dogs. Yum, yum. But unfortunately, I do not live in Chicago, or some may say fortunately, but they have some really good food there. Really do like their food. Anyway, um, I might have a hot dog tonight, but it'll be from my own refrigerator. Ew. Maybe order pizza. Yeah, that would be great. Once I get a little better at this, I'm going to try doing a live stream uh, with one of our flight events at Delta, but not until I get a little better at this situation. I've got some equipment ordered that's coming. Right now, I'm using a headset, so I'm not too sure how the quality of sound and so forth is, but I got a not top of the line situation, but inexpensive setup with mic and all that. So we will see how that does once it comes in. And I plan on doing some instructional videos on planes and so forth, trying to help folks who are just learning and just starting out, or just got an airplane that they're not familiar with and that I may have and am familiar with and fly, and just kind of throw some things out there. I know on certain airplanes when I started out with them, I kind of got frustrated because I couldn't find certain types of videos specifically for what I needed to know. And so I'm going to try to fill that gap. That was my whole main purpose of doing this YouTube video stuff. And there's the rain again. We keep catching it off and on. Not enough to need the wipers, but just enough to mess up the pretty paint job. And let's take a peek at where we are on the route. Let's see if we can just go direct to Barry and see how that does us. And it looks like we're picking up the outer marker. Seen it flashing on the screen there. And we're getting ready to make a right approach downwind for runway 10 center, ORD. And at that point in time, when we start our right turn downwind, I will click on the approach button. That way we'll be sure and pick up the localizer and the glide slope. I have found a few times that if I turn it on too soon, it takes me right off of my course and tries to send me in sooner than what I should be. So I have learned to keep my fingers away from that button for a little while. And let's go check our speed. 131, there we go. And now we can flip on the approach. Landing lights on. And do a flow. Look at there, we never did do that. Catch myself doing that occasionally. Not flip it over to generators. Bad Toad. Anti-ice is on. Everything's on. Landing altitude is set. And flaps 10. And we're turning left base for final. And we're getting tossed around with our salad here pretty good. Localizers captured, glide slope captured. And we can go ahead and put that landing gear down now. And get our 3 green on that. There we go, gear down. We'll do a visual check. Yep, gears down. Flaps 25. And here comes that rain again. And it looks like everything is good right on the board here. Let's go ahead and there we go. Looking good. let's go ahead and get them flaps full. Then we can do our landing checklist. Here comes the rain. Engine start switches continuous. Speed brake armed. Landing gears down, 3 green. Flaps set for landing. Landing checklist is now complete. And we're about 10 nautical miles out. There goes my frame rate acting goofy again. I'm not exactly sure what the situation is with Xplane 12 on that. I have cut back all my scenery except for the US, Mexico, and part of Canada and Alaska. I thought that might help the frame rate, but it really hasn't made that big of a difference. And we just entered Chicago Class B airspace. And there's the runway dead ahead. And here comes the rain again, of course, right before we land. It's going to make us turn those windshield wipers on. And ILS Approach frequency is set. We should be good to land. Yeah, it's not raining bad enough to need the windshield wipers at the moment, but just have to keep an eye on that. My next video I will use Xplane 11 and show you the differences that I have in frame rate and quality. I mean, I really love the scenery and the graphics and everything in Xplane 12. I just wish I could figure out how to get it to set up with my system. For those of you who are more technically advanced than myself, which it wouldn't take much, but I have the Alienware R11 system with the NVIDIA 2070 Super GeForce. And plenty of hard drive space and RAM and so forth. 1,000 feet. Getting ready to cut off everything and hand flyer in. And there we are on the ground in Chicago. And let's take a look at that landing rate, shall we, and see what it did this time. Oh, horrible, horrible, horrible. 484. Not good. I do better than that. All right. Well, thank you for watching, and comments are always appreciated. So especially if you can help me out with my frame rate situation or advice on how to get this landing rate down is always good to know. Well, until the next time, be safe. May your skies be blue and you have a nice tailwind.